Peoples, what's up? Hope all is well. I am so excited to be here tonight. Welcome to another episode of Reflect and Grow. I'm your host, Mychael. We come here every week where we reflect, we grow, and we laugh. Um, this week, man, last week was dope. We had therapist Brenda Joy on. Um, we had some real great conversations last week about the emotional side of losing weight. Because a lot of times people talk about losing weight, and it's always about put down the chips and stuff like that. So we just kind of dived into that. This week, y'all, it's gonna be me and y'all. We're gonna have a great combo. I feel like I want to talk about anxiety this week. What's up, Two Bless? I had a guest, but my guest canceled, and I was like, you know what? The show must go on. It don't matter what happens. The show will always happen. So, um, anyway, what's up, Tom? Welcome. We're just getting started. So this week, man, I really wanted to talk about anxiety. It's anxiety is one of them things. Yeah, if y'all can help me get this up to like 2K likes, I really would appreciate that. Anxiety is one of them things, man, that like I used to be very afraid of. Um, I was the type of person I would get like this deep heightened anxiety, and I would just like go into panic attacks, and I didn't know how to control it. I was the type that I always had to like go talk to somebody as soon as I felt that anxiety. What do y'all do when y'all get anxiety? Tom, Lux, how do y'all handle y'all anxiety? For me, it was always like trying to distract myself. I remember the specific person that I would talk to all the time. We'd be on the phone hours and stuff like that, co-worker. And this person, I swear to God, every time I talked to them, I would get anxiety. And I don't know, like at that time, I didn't know understand why I was getting anxiety. It just felt like very intense, and every single time I talked to them, I would feel that. Real quick in the chat, Tom says, I've been learning to breathe more, even doing breathing exercises in my free time. Yes. That breathing will definitely is one of the things I had to learn with anxiety. So I would talk to this person, they would give me anxiety. I would stop talking to them and I would feel great. Um, and then time would go on. I'll see this person again. I'd be like, you know what? Let me start talking to this person again. And once I started talking to him, the anxiety came back. Panic attacks came back. And what I learned was, for me specifically in that situation, was my anxiety was my body was telling me something that I did not have the words for at that time. A lot of times, from what I'm learning and my experience, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a pastor. I'm not. I'm just talking about from my wisdom. Um, but what I learned is that it was my body was telling me this person is danger. You need boundaries. But I didn't necessarily have the language for that at that time. I didn't know. I just knew that this person, every time I talked to him, I would feel something. And when I went back and I started learning the language, um, I saw that like there was toxic patterns, dynamic, um, disrespect, but I didn't have the language to describe how I was feel. Y'all ever heard that song, Rich Homie Quan, I feel some type of way? That's how I used to describe my feelings. It would be like, I feel some type of way. I didn't know I felt, oh, disrespected. I didn't know, this person was projecting on me. I didn't know that this person was, doing certain things and it would um, give me this heightened anxiety. So, now even in life, like what I've learned, Lux in the chat wrote, yep, I was going to say deep breathing and trying to stay present. Yes, what I'm learning now um is to help use your anxiety. Like, I'm using my anxiety to help me determine what's healthy for me. Sometimes I've realized that, like, I was going to this church, and I had left that I was about to come back to the church, and I was getting a lot of anxiety. And my therapist explained to me at the time, she was like, "Vaughn, that's your body telling you, you're not ready to do that. Like, there's something about that environment that is saying like, yo, I don't want to do that, and you need to listen to your body. Don't fight it, because when you fight it, the anxiety get worse. That's when the panic attacks happen, and um, and everything starts to increase." In the chat, Tom wrote, "Yeah, stand away from people who project and weeding that out for your own peace of mind." Yes, sir. And the chat, Lux wrote, "Yup, your body will always tell you." Yes, and that's one of the things where it's like, once you learn to like listen to your anxiety, it is life changing. It is so life changing. Have y'all noticed that? Like, at first, when you don't listen, it's bad, and because when you don't listen, I realized that's when I started getting into substances. That's when I learned that like I was distracting myself on the social media all the time, or that's when I was gaining weight. I was emotionally eating. But when you start to listen to the anxiety and you start to understand, like, oh, this is my body telling me, yo, this is not healthy for me, you start to get peace. And that's one of the things I feel like people just don't really talk about when it comes to anxiety, is the peace, you know? Um, yeah, because I had a situation where like I was going to a church, I told you I've been on that faith journey, and was dealing with um, someone had spread some of my personal business while I was at the church, and I found out that other people knew, and it was like, before I mentally, like my consciously, I knew, my body was like having like this deep anxiety while I was at the church, and it was crazy. And this time I didn't know that you could listen to your body, and when I got around that person, the anxiety would just be like, yo, get away, get away, get away. This person dangerous, this person dangerous. And um, I eventually went to another church, and I immediately felt peace, ease, and stuff like that. Have y'all in the chat, have y'all ever went through a situation where your body, where your anxiety was telling you that you need to set boundaries or get away from somebody? If so, please let me know in the chat. I would love to hear y'all personal story about that. Tom wrote, let's see. For some reason, Tom, they love to filter your. It says, yeah, you can see people move different when they've been talking about you too. Listen to your instinct. Yes. That's one thing I had to learn, is it's like, yo, I don't know if y'all believe in spiritual and the emotions and stuff like that. Like, your body will pick up on those certain type of things, and that's what I learned. It was like, oh, I knew y'all was gossiping about me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I knew you was. I knew the way you looked at me. I knew that this specific word that you use, somebody told you something that I said, and stuff like that. And you know, um, sometimes some of us, we can pick up those certain type of situations. In the chat, Lux wrote, "Yup, I have no problem removing myself from any room or situation that doesn't feel right." Yeah, that is true. So now let's go ahead and we're gonna move into our Reddit segment. I'm gonna read some Reddit segments, y'all. In the chat, please let me know what y'all think, what y'all feeling, and then we'll just go over it after we finish talking about it. So one writes, does anyone else end up overthinking an insignificant interaction thing for an entire day because they can't stop? I have such a hard time moving on from thoughts of overthinking, whether it be a small interaction with a stranger or something work related. That one small thing consumes me for the entire day. I replay the conversation in my head over and over and go through. Did I sound too mean? What if what I said they didn't like, so therefore they don't like me? What if, or should have? What are some of your experiences? Do we got any overthinkers in the chat? Have y'all dealing with I'll bring you up for the or knock sabotage time after this one. So let's see. Yeah, so I'm the type of person I used to in the chat Tom wrote, I used to overthink more. That's why I stopped. I see, okay. I used to overthink myself too a lot about a lot of stuff, but one thing I learned about the overthinking is you have to learn to accept. Acceptance is the key in life. You have to accept that somebody might look at you in a weird way. You have to accept that somebody might talk about you. You might accept that you're just not perfect. Um, and kind of got to let go of that image of being a certain type of person or a certain type of thing, is what I have learned when it came to overthinking. But it is a process. I used to overthink everything, especially like you have moments where you might be dealing with like low self esteem or something like that. The overthinking be going through the roof. Um, all right, so let's move on to our next one. It says, I had a panic attack while driving, pulled over off the road to stay safe, and someone hit me at full speed while texting and driving. My car was totaled. Hold on. Before we go into this, in the chat, Lux wrote, yup, only narrative you control is your own. For real, for real. All right. So it says, I've been diagnosed with a GAD and have had a pretty few bad panic attacks in my life. Last night, I was driving from my old apartment to my first house. I just bought with the last load of my house plants. I had about 35 in the car. It's a hobby of mine. For some reason, I'm still unsure of. I still I started having panic attacks. My heart rate went up. The pit of my stomach dropped. I felt woozy, broke out in cold sweat, and felt extremely anxious right before going onto the highway. I pulled to the side of the road with my hazards on to give myself time to come down off of this panic attack. I called my partner who was at the house and told him I was having a panic attack, and he worked with me to help me get grounded and calm. I ended the call after about 8 minutes and told him I would call him back when I felt good to drive again. The intensity of the attack was coming in waves at this point, but it was gradually lessening. Less than 2 minutes after the call ended, someone ran full speed into the back of my car. My car was lurched forward with an awful crunch. Plant dirt and debris flew everywhere. I was thrown forward by my seatbelt caught me. I was off the road to the slide of the hazards, etc., etc. I had no immediate injuries, but I was terrified. I never heard myself scream like that. The panic attack I had almost gotten under control was now replaced with absolute mayhem of fear and pure adrenaline. The guy came out of his car and approached mine. I was already on the phone with the police, and he kept trying to give me his license and saying he was going to give me his insurance info. I was sobbing. All right, let's fast forward to this. The police came with the ambulance. They took my vitals. I had no pain in my neck, back, stomach. They were like, this guy gave you his license, but not his insurance to draw off. This is a hit and run. I think the guy was trying to do the right thing, but got scared and fled. My car was totaled, the back wheel. Um, I'm so grateful for being alive and in the hospital, but I'm scared about what this means for me and my anxiety moving forward. Will I have PTSD from this? Will I be scared of driving cars moving forward? Wow, that was a lot. Thank you for the rose, Tom, and for the boxing gloves. All right, so in this one, the lady essentially was having panic attacks. It ended up giving in an accident, and what she's asking is now that she had this, is she going to be having be able to drive without having panic attacks? In the chat, Lux wrote, "Oh my God, that would make it so much worse. Death PTSD inducing." Um, yeah. Once again, I want to make sure I state this. I am not a licensed therapist. I am not a life coach, and I am not ordained. However, I will give my opinion. Um, yeah, it definitely sounds like this is something that could cause you to, um, have that thought in the near futures. Because a lot of times, we be going through stuff in life, and then like something traumatic like that, and then years down the road, you be like, man, this could happen again. So I would definitely encourage this person to talk to somebody about this. Because what I have learned is that a lot of times things feel strong, but when you start talking about them, the weight of it loosens. So if you keep talking about it, keep processing it, it get easier and easier and easier. Once again, I'm not a licensed therapist, so I don't want to say get a second opinion on that. But in the chat, have y'all ever had a panic attack to the point that something serious like that has happened? Because I've had quite a few panic attacks in my life. This was definitely um, I would say pre therapy. I have some close ones that were about to happen after, but I kind of have the tools now that they don't happen as much to me anymore. But I would love to hear in the chat if y'all have had any stories about panic attacks. I'll tell you one panic attack I had. So I had I was on the phone talking to somebody. Hold up. In the chat, Lux wrote, yes, I used to get them all the time in my early 20s. Stayed in the emergency room. Yeah, there it's real, man. Like people don't be knowing. Like people, sometimes people, others will underestimate how serious those panic attacks was. Especially like me, and I had some health issues like diabetes and blood pressure at one point in my life. I used to worry a lot about those. I would worry so much that I would end up have to go to the hospital because I'd be like, "Yo, something is happening to me," and then I get there and they'd be like, "Yo, Vaughn." I'd be like, "Yo, my face feeling weird. I think something is happening. Something has happened." Then I get to the hospital. I'm in there sweating, shaking, going crazy, and then they'd be like, "Vaughn, that's your sinuses. You feel your sinuses on your face." I'd be like, "Yeah." So I was I was definitely creating my own anxiety, yo. But it was this is serious. Like when you like really like start getting some certain things in your life and you dealing with especially like health issues, like you worry a lot. In the chat, Tom wrote, low key, I had a panic attack at my first local mic. LOL, donated blood and it was hot that day. They say in America, public speaking is the number one fear. So yeah, I could definitely see um how you could have probably had a panic attack at your first open mic. Let me tell you about my first open mic because what I did was, and I don't advise anyone to do this. You know, this is what I did. This is in the past. My first open mic, I had like four drinks before I got on stage. This was before I'm sober, and I got on stage. I thought I did well, but when I got off stage, the guy was like, "Hey man, don't give up. It's gonna be all right." And I was like, "Yo, why are you telling me this? I did great." Next day, I woke up, and I guess like after everything, like the drinks wore off, I was like, I realized I was like, "Yo, I bombed." I was reflecting on my. I was like, "Yo, I bombed last night. That was bad." And I was like, I'm quitting. I ain't never doing this ever again." Um, so um, I had delayed anxiety and embarrassment from my open mic. In the chat, Lux wrote, "Oh my God." Tom wrote, "Yeah, that drinking confidence doesn't always translate." Yeah, man, but it gave me delayed. Um, it delayed everything, so I didn't feel it in the moment, but the next day it definitely came back. All right, so we got another one, y'all. Reddit story for y'all. It says having anxiety is a full time job you don't get paid for. It's like, well, maybe that's not how it is for everyone, but I am always in my head, thinking, planning, problem solving, and of course, worrying. Then worrying some more. I'm never in the current moment. My mind is always in the future. Before I know it, the day is over, and have barely acknowledged slash talked to anybody and barely looked anyone in the eye. I'm not miserable. I just need to get out of my head, stop worrying with my mind, jumping from one thing to the next. Stop getting frustrated and irritated. Stop overthinking everything and instead actually live life and enjoy it. Yeah, wow. I'm someone that worries. Um, I got, well, they told me I got chronic trauma, so I worry a lot. In the chat, are y'all people that worry? Do y'all worry a lot? How do y'all, and if so, how do you deal with your worrying? In the chat, Lux wrote, also, mindfulness and meditation did wonders for my anxiety. Okay. Mindfulness and meditation did wonders for anxiety. I hear you. I hear you, Lux. Um, I am someone. I am like when they like talk about Headspace app. Tom wrote meditation and hand mudras for real helped me a lot when I first stopped drinking. Okay. Um, I'm someone I would say that I'm a professional worrier. Like when I tell you that nobody else can worry more than me, like I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can say y'all ain't worrying. I worry about everything. I worry about well in my past. I'm saying this past tense. I worry about when I'm waking up. I worry about projects. I worry about the future. I worry about the past. I just be worrying, y'all. Like somebody say something to overthinking, I be worrying about that. Like so when I read that Reddit story, like it kind of like I'm like, dang, like I feel them. Like it gets to the point that like you meet new people and you can't have a full conversation with them because you just worrying. They be like, dang, yo, Vaughn is weird. Like he not present. It's like, nah, bro, cause I'm worrying. Like I can't focus on you. Um, but one tool that has helped me so much through worrying and let me know if this has helped y'all as well is journaling. Like I swear, whenever I start worrying about something and I just go straight journal, like I had a situation right. I was talking to this girl not too long ago, and I really really liked her, and but I felt like I was not good enough for her, right? And I was just worrying about not being good enough for this specific type of woman, right? And I remembered at that moment, I just started journaling every thought I had. Like I journaled like 3, 4 pages, and afterwards, it was like, man, I felt so much better. I realized that that was just the negative self talk talking, insecurities and the worrying, and it was not real. But the journaling like let me get it out of my head when I put it on that paper. One of the best things. Um, I would say also I used to run a lot, work out and stuff like that. If you into like go to the gym, because it's like when you used the energy, like wearing takes energy, but like when you use the energy from wearing and put that into working out, next level, y'all. Next level. Because you don't have once you use the energy on working out, you ain't got time to worry. So it's just like figuring out ways how to spend your energy. So for me, it was working out. Me for journaling. I would love to hear in the chat what do y'all use when y'all are worrying, um, because we gotta stop worrying. Tom in the chat wrote working out and getting invested in a project like music. Okay, so you spend your energy creating. That's interesting because for me, I'm the total opposite. When I'm like on the worry, I can't create. For some reason, like I can't write jokes when I'm wearing. Like I gotta go do something else than write jokes. Wearing like it's like takes away my joke writing. So that's dope that that works for you. In the chat, Lux wrote, gaming helps me get out of my head too because I'm focusing on something else in the moment. Okay. What game you be playing when you wearing Lux? What you be playing? Some Grand Theft Auto? You committing crimes? Lux probably be committing crimes out here in these streets. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the or nog segment of this. So I'm gonna ask y'all some questions. Hold on, in the chat, Lux wrote, "Right now, chef life. I'm running a mission." Hey yo, you got you a little restaurant in the game. You got you a whole other life. Oh man, that's hilarious. So y'all, let's go ahead and move to our or nog segment. So what I'll do is I'm gonna read scenarios, and y'all let me know if y'all think it's healthy coping, anxiety, or avoidance. All right. Canceling plans before you feel anxious. Is that a healthy boundary or nah? I would say for me, canceling plans, um, it depends. It depends on the anxiety. Like it depends. For me, certain situations it can be a healthy boundary. Sometimes it can just be avoidance. In the chat, Tom wrote it can be healthy depending if it's a situation you might drink, like a party. Also depends on the individual. Lux wrote anxiety, but I think it depends on what's causing it. Yeah, that's what I say. Like something like Tom saying, like you sober, you might not be ready to be around that type of environment that's healthy. Um, I told you I had the church hurt situation. I was like, I'm not going to go. For me, that was a healthy boundary not to be around in a toxic situation. But there can be situations where it's just like, hey, yo, maybe you should get out the house. You know, you don't want to be isolating yourself too much. Like if you're not spending time around nobody. Um, all right, so constantly checking your phone for a reply after sending a text. Is that normal anxiety or nah? I would say for me, I don't think that. I think that it depends. If it's something that you do all the time, then it's no. But maybe it might be something where it's like you need a response about a job or a gig or it's like an emergency. That's healthy anxiety. But if you do this for every specific person, um, I would say, from my personal opinion, then no, that's not healthy. And the chat Lux wrote she's agree. What up, Shonda? All right, y'all, be honest. Be honest for this next one. Googling every symptom when you don't feel well. Is that a healthy concern or nah? Um, I think I might be. I think I might do it. I would say nah, because we talk about that worrying and anxiety. I be messing around. I Google some stuff and I read it. I be like, yo, I got that. And then you go to the doctor. They be like, yo, you have none of that. You healthy. So for me personally, um, I would say that nah, that's not. Lux wrote in the chat, "Oh nah, I had to stop that for real because Google gonna tell you you got 5 minutes to live." Yes, yes. I thought I had everything in the book. That's why when I told you I was in the hospital with all the panic attacks and anxiety, because that's I was reading them Googles. I was reading all the stuff on Google that was happening, and I'd be like, "Yo." So, yeah, I agree with you, Lux, on that one. All right. Avoiding difficult conversations because they make you anxious, protecting your peace or nah? It depends. I would say it depends. Is the person that you do it, um are they violent? Oh man. It depends on the person. Oh man. Because it made me think about, I'll give y'all an example. And this is one guy, like he was like one of these old school guys who like felt like the Jay-Z era, D-boy area. And it's just like, I was like, nah, like sometimes I don't have conversations with people if they never been to therapy. Cause I feel like for me personally, it's like, are you gonna be able to process this? Are you gonna be able to have a healthy conversations? Like, I need to know, like, um, what's your level at. So I would say once again that was the pen. All right, yeah. Journaling when you feeling overwhelmed instead of bottling up. Healthy coping or nah? I would say healthy coping. Um, yeah, I would say that's super healthy coping. Matter of fact, I would say that's probably some of the best. What up, user 29786967292? Staying busy every minute of the day so you don't have to sit with your thoughts. Healthy distraction or not? That's definitely not healthy. That's definitely not healthy. And I feel like a lot of people, man, they do this. Like, I was one of these type of people into the pandemic. This pandemic made me realize I was addicted to being busy. Sometimes you got to sit down. Like, I personally, hold on. Nah. All right, in the chat, Lux Road, not healthy, another avoidance thing. Very, very true. Um, yeah, like I literally, man, I had to sit down these last 3 weeks and not do no shows because I realized I was burning out. I was too busy, and it's just like you can try to stay busy every minute of the day, but that won't catch up to you. I learned that I ain't about that life. Um, yeah, taking a break from social media because it's affecting your mental health. Healthy boundary and all. That's healthy. Asking friends for reassurance every time you're anxious. Healthy support and all. Nah, but I definitely do it. I definitely be doing it. I ain't gonna lie. I be seeing some reassurance. Hey yo, what up, Lee? Lux in the chat wrote hands up. Going for a walk or exercising when your anxiety starts building. Healthy coping or nah? That's healthy. Ignoring your anxiety, hoping it eventually goes away. Healthy strategy or nah? Nope, that is not healthy. That's what I was talking about earlier when I told you I was having all those panic attacks. A lot of that was what you call it, avoiding the anxiety. You gotta face it. You gotta deal with it because the more you avoid it, it's just gonna keep building up, and eventually it's gonna come out. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and move over to our celebrity segment. Um, so I got a couple celebrities I want to talk about today. So Simone Biles. Biles. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Simone Biles. Y'all know the so during the 2021 Toyota Tokyo Olympics, Simone Biles shocked the world when she stepped away from several events to focus on her mental health. She explained she was experiencing the twisties, a block that made it dangerous to perform complex gymnastic skills. Many people criticized her at first, while others praised her for putting her health before public expectations. She later returned to competition and won more Olympic medals, showing that taking a step back didn't end her career. All right, so my question for y'all is why do y'all think people often feel guilty for putting their mental health first? And I'll answer first. I feel like society, makes us feel like we got to be productive, especially in America. Um, it's like work your 40 hours, work all the time, overtime. You got to grind and you got to work hard for all your life. And then you get your social security check and you made it. I think it's just the culture of America. Like, we feel like we have to work hard. We got to grind. You can't be lazy. So you got the American culture and then you got the black culture, too, where it's like we're told we got to work harder than everybody else. We got to constantly be doing something, staying busy, and all that stuff. And so when you say, yo, I need me like a mental health break, people be like, yo, you soft. Like, what's wrong with you? A mental health break? Like, who's asking for a mental health break? In the chat, Lux wrote, people try to act like mental health isn't real because it's not physical health in a way. Yes. I think that's another thing. It's like you can't directly see mental health. Like your physical health, you could just see you getting fat. Like you hurt my stomach. But with mental health, it's like it's one of them things where people can't see it. And I think it's also um, yeah, you can't really track like how well your mental health is. Like with losing weight, it's like with your physical health, it's like I can see the pounds you lose. How do you know someone's mental health has improved actually? But a lot of it is just a cultural wall. I've noticed our culture really tells us that we need to um, do that. So my next question for the chat is, how do you know the difference between giving up and taking a healthy step back? That's something that I battle with because there is a fine line between working hard and grinding and building. No, let me say that. There's a fine line between protecting your peace, your mental health, and um, not just being lazy. Like there's a fine line, and I try to make sure I can protect the mental health um, so that I can keep going. In the chat, Lux wrote, you mean like knowing when to stop something altogether? Yes. Like, how do you know the difference between giving up, like stopping fully complete, and taking a healthy step back? So for me, taking a healthy step back, because a lot of times, when you give up, you lose momentum. And one of the fears of taking a step back, I realized too. What up, Sunday? So one of the fears of taking a step back is losing momentum. Like I've dealt with that, and that's a lot of fear of why people don't take breaks because they feel like, if I take a break, then I'm gonna lose my momentum and things are gonna slow down, and that comparison with other people, like, oh man, such and such is doing this, you got to keep up with the Jones. In the chat, Sunday wrote, perspective of the overall plan matters. Sometimes pausing is part of the plan. Yes, yes. Pausing is part of the plan. I was, telling Lux about I literally have told myself after every 10 weeks now, I'm taking 3 weeks off to rest because you can't be out here killing yourself. So we're reading about Simone Biles, who took a step away from Olympic sports, and she came back and did very, very well. But when she initially took her break, people were criticizing her, saying something's wrong with her. And now when you look back, it's like, oh wow, she was a genius. Um, and have y'all personally ever needed to step away from something to protect your peace? Yeah, man. I would say I had to. Um, I had to step away from competitive coworkers. Like I would have peers um, who would always try to compete or one up, and I had to step away from that because that stuff for me, like, it's kind of toxic because it puts you in a mindset like, oh man, I gotta compete with you, and now it's like I'm focusing on competing with you versus focusing on the long game. One of the worst experiences ever. In the chat, Lux wrote all the time, laughing emoji. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next celebrity. So we have Ryan Reynolds. So Ryan Reynolds has openly talked about living with anxiety for years, even while becoming one of Hollywood's biggest actors. He said he often experienced intense anxiety before interviews, public appearances, and major events. He shared that humor became one of the ways he learned to cope, but he also emphasized the importance of talking about mental health instead of pretending everything is okay. In the chat, Sunday wrote, I stepped away from the hospitality industry for 4 years, came back, and started 4 positions higher. That's what I'm talking about, Sunday. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, a lot of times, man, that when you take a step back, what's that analogy people use? When you like in the mix, you close to the forest, like you only can see what's right in front of you. When you take that step back, you can see the entire forest. And you be like, oh man, I was just running in a rat race. I need to go over here and like actually move forward. So that's dope that you did that. So reading about Ryan Reynolds, um, what y'all think? Why do people assume successful people don't struggle with anxiety? Have y'all noticed that successful people assume successful people don't struggle with anxiety? Um, I think most successful people are broken. I was sitting literally. I watched a documentary today about Jason Derulo, Trey Songz, and they all had like scandals, and it made me think. I was like, yo, every celebrity has a scandal, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, I need to figure out if every celebrity has a scandal, that means I'm gonna have a scandal. I need to pick my scandal. Like, what is the scandal that I'm okay with being with? Like, in the chat, Lux wrote, I think people have different levels of masking too. Yeah, everybody got levels of masking. Um, that's so true, Lux. That's so true. But yeah, um, they mask it well, and a lot of times, like, I'm a performer myself, so when you do something so many times, hold on. In the chat, Sunday wrote, "Be like Drewski and get a baby mama. That's your scandal." Hey man, I'm a man of God. I'm a man of God. uh, Maybe I'll think about that one. That might be the best one. Um, so yeah, so a lot of times when you like do something consistently, it becomes muscle memory, but the anxiety never goes away. Like Chris Rock, I heard him talk about one time, like he still gets anxiety. Um, yeah, they going crazy. Lux wrote in the chat, yes, get you a baby mama. I'll get one when I can afford one. I can't afford a baby mama right now. All right. Do y'all think it's really easy to hide anxiety from other people? Like in a Ryan Reynolds situation? Because people don't think Ryan Reynolds has anxiety. So do y'all think it's easy for people to hide anxiety? I don't know. I can't hide my anxiety. Everybody be knowing I have anxiety. I'm the anxiety monster. I'm gonna let you know I got anxiety. My anxiety be through the roof. They be like, oh yeah, Vaughn got anxiety. It depends on how extreme it is. I think it is. I think people don't want to see your anxiety. I think that Sunday wrote some do it by overcompensating other feelings. That's very true too. Um, I think sometimes people they just don't see it because like when you're around famous people, like it becomes this like sometimes you be so caught off guard, be like, yo, I seen you on TV. And then like you gotta like really be around them for a while to see it. Like they like this person is human too. Their breath stink. Um, they got a balding spot. Um, they're a little musty. Like, but you gotta be around them. But when you see somebody like you, it's like say example, like you see Martin, you've been watching Martin on your television since the '90s, and you see him in real life, like you're just gonna be so caught up in that I feel like when people don't yeah, you don't see that in the moment. And so that's why sometimes people be thinking that these celebrities. And another thing is you see celebrities when they're on. A lot of times you don't see these celebrities when they at home. Like Kim, I'm pretty sure Kim Kardashian farts, but I ain't never seen Kim Kardashian fart on the Kardashian show or a Kanye music video and stuff like that. Every time I see her, she look perfect. I remember one time I told my mom, right? I was like, Mom, I want me a woman like Beyonce. My mom told me, she was like, Beyonce don't even look like Beyonce. And when she first said that, I did not understand what she was saying. And then years later, I started to realize, yo, my mom dropped a bar. she, she said Beyonce don't even look like Beyonce, meaning that Beyonce gets put the makeup and all that stuff on when she's on a cover shoot, when she's doing music videos, but in real life, she don't look like that every day. She's a regular woman. But I got so caught up in only seeing her in her perfect image that I thought that that's what I wanted and that's what I want. I didn't think she was a regular person just like me. And in the chat, Lux wrote, yup. All right, y'all. That is all the material that I have for today. This was fun, man. This was fun. Um, coming up, let me see. I'm off this week. Don't forget, y'all. The 31st, I believe that is 31st of this month. The Rent Comedy Party. Yes, Lux. This was a great combo. The Rent Comedy Party is the 31st last Friday of this month. We will be doing this again next week. Why does it keep filtering? It filter you. We'll do this next week, 10 p.m. I'll be back for sure. Outside of that, have a good night, y'all. This was dope. Peace out. Peace out, Sunday. Peace out, Lux. Peace out, Tom. See y'all next week.